What's up, everyone, and welcome to Project X Talk, an Xbox podcast, episode number 97, presented by
Ooh.
Save the Game Media. I'm your host, Kevin, aka the Muffin Mon, and today I am joined by my co-host, Mr. Physical Copy himself, Ethan. How are you doing, buddy?
Man, I'm having a good week, Kevin. I've secured the package. I got a PS5. It's coming either tomorrow or the next day. I'm excited for that to get into the backlog. Haven't been part of the PlayStation ecosystem since the PlayStation 2, and even that was just a Battlefront 2 machine, right? All I played on that was Star Wars Battlefront 2, so I'm ready to get into that backlog. Just coffee talks on Game Pass. It's a good week, Kevin. Let's go.
It is a good week. I'm having a good time. It's a little relaxing, a little slow right now in terms of new game releases, but
Yeah.
I've taken some time to chill, watch some TV that I normally
Getting a
don't
lot of
do.
anime watched this week
Uh,
for sure.
I watched some Better Call Saul, believe it or not.
Oh, look at that. We got to do
Yeah,
a spoiler cast for that,
catching up. But we talk about video games here, specifically Xbox. And if you like that, this podcast is live every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time right here on YouTube. If you can't catch us live, we post every Friday morning on all of your favorite podcast services. So while you're over there, please drop us a rating or review, whether that's Apple, Spotify. And if you leave us a 5-star review on Apple, we will read it live on the show, just like I believe it's pronounced Apple, but the E is a 3, and then it has a little
Yep.
face at the end. It says, a show for the fans. Excellent and well-balanced panel. Ethan brings the insightful arguments. Kevin is an excellent host. And Amand with the controversial takes that always makes good comedy.
You hear that, Kevin? I'm insightful.
I know. All I got is he's a good host. He's a good host. Yeah.
You're an afterthought, Kevin. It's okay.
Yeah, apparently.
We all know.
Yeah. Amand apparently brings the comedy. I don't know about that. I don't know. You guys might think think it's funny. All right. Yeah. Thank you for the review. If you want to interact with us more, please come join the Discord. The link is in the description down below. We got a few new members lately. Really appreciate everyone hopping in there, discussing stuff. I think our food chat is probably
the food chat be popping
off.
The food chat and the anime chat seem to be the place where the cool kids hang out for sure.
That's right. So if you guys want to come talk food, anime, games, whatever, please come join us over on the Discord. And if you want to support us early, or if you want to support us and get our content early, but words are hard sometimes. All of Save the Game Media's content can be found over on patreon.com/Save the Game Media, just like No Limits, Frame by Frame, I Hate My Friends, and Project X Talk, and some new Patreon exclusive podcasts coming next month because we hit our goals. You're getting 2 exclusive podcasts every month from us. So if you're not subscribed over there at any tier can get these podcasts. Go over there, check it out. Lots of good stuff coming your way.
I'm about to subscribe myself, Kevin, so I can get God of War for free. All right, I need to enter that sweepstakes,
bro. No, we ain't doing that.
Come on, I can win, right?
No, you can't. No, you can't. We ain't doing that. But we are giving away a copy of God of War Ragnarok. Patrons do get double chances. So if that entices you, go over there. If not, just leave No Limits, our sister PlayStation show, a review, and that'll enter you if you tweet it at us. Get it, just show that you've done it. All right. But I want to give a Patreon shout out to our current patrons: Bucky Blue, Hopple, Alpaca Tom, SAZ, Fabulous Brianna, and Brianna's mom. Thank you all for your support. We appreciate every single one of you. Ethan, I think that's all the housekeeping out of the way. So let's start the show like we do every week by going around the room and asking one simple question. That question is, what you playing?
So we're both going to talk about this, and we talked about it at length yesterday when we recorded our spoiler cast, but that's Cult of the Lamb. So for those of you that don't know, we got a spoiler cast coming out tomorrow, I believe, right? For Cult of the Lamb. It's about 30 minutes. We got into a really big discussion about it. We had a lot of great talking points. We dive into the mechanics of the game and all the different secrets you can find. Overall, I think both of our thoughts were very positive. This is a very good game, a very fun bite-sized roguelike experience. Before you run out and buy it right now because of what we're about to say, there are some really big bugs that are going on right now. None of it's like game breaking, I would say. It's frustrating. Luckily for me, at least, it wasn't until after I had finished the entire main storyline that the bugs started happening, and that seems to be a trend going on from what I'm seeing from the community. But love that game. I guess we're not going to get too crazy into it because we already spent over a half hour talking about it on that spoiler cast. That's
Mm-hmm.
coming out tomorrow. Patrons, you guys can see it right now on the Patreon. So that was a really good discussion. So do you want to talk about Cult of the Lamb a little bit before I
No,
move
I
on?
mean, so I don't want to go too much into it. I think everyone should go check out our review discussion posting tomorrow, 30 minutes at length. We talk about this game. I think our overall thoughts was that we really liked it, but it's not perfect, and we'll go into more detail. But I do want to direct people to that review discussion for more. So, besides Call of the Lamb, have you
Yeah.
been playing anything?
So I saw you put Fall Guys down on the dock, so I threw it in there too. And I just wanted to make the point that Fall Guys is the game that I'm just playing when I don't know what to play. And I think that's something really amazing about it, that it's just such a fun little game that you can jump into, do a few runs. By the way, I got my second crown ever this morning. I was so proud of myself. I never get the crown. I always get to the finals. I never get to the crown. So I did it my first playthrough. It was first thing after waking up. I was having my morning coffee and I got the crown. I'm like, I don't know how the hell I did that. That was kind of crazy. So I love that. So Fall Guys, shout out to you guys. Still making an amazing. I think they're doing a Sonic event right now. You already are.
It just ended.
You're already dripped out with the Sonic stuff, so you didn't need to worry about it. So I'm looking forward to whatever events they do next. I did the Master Chief one before the Sonic one, and I got a bunch of skins for that, so that was fun. And then the last game I want to talk about is something that I quickly picked up and played a little bit today, and that's Timesia. I believe that's what it's called. It's pretty much a double A, I guess you could say Souls-like, but it's more of kind of a copycat of Souls games. Like there's a lot of on the nose things where it's very much okay. This is obviously taken from these Souls games, especially Elden Ring. I think it's heavily inspired by Elden Ring. It's about 7 to 9 hours according to the developer. It is challenging, like most Souls likes. It has all the different mechanics of Souls likes. It's a lot of timed combat and stuff like that, and it's actually really well made. I wasn't expecting too much going into this, but it is definitely a solid AA game. The price point's $25, so it's definitely, I think, a fair price point. I think if you're a huge Souls type fan, you're gonna love this game. It's a quick little bite-sized adventure. It's interesting. You're like this plague doctor, and you get these plague weapons and stuff like that gives you different abilities and upgrades and everything. And it's absolutely it's a blast. But right now where I am, I wasn't trying to get into a Souls type game, so I put it on the back burner for now. I played about an hour. Explored the first map at length. There's lots of collectibles, so there's something here for Souls type fans. I think you guys really enjoy it.
Interesting. I've heard mixed things on that. Some people think it's a really well done Souls like, and then others that I saw reviewing it were they didn't really like the combat or they had some issues with it.
It's not. Don't go into it expecting an Elden Ring experience, folks. Like, don't be going into this expecting an Elden Ring experience. But for what it is, I think it's really fun. $25. If you're worried about it not being up to snuff compared to Elden Ring and stuff, wait for it to go on. It's actually on sale right now. Xbox does a lot of launch sales. I think it's like 20% off right now. I picked up for like $19 or something like that. So that was pretty nice.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad to hear you're liking it. I will not be playing that game.
I don't expect you to.
Far away from anything Souls related. Okay, well, besides Call of the Lamb, and I also was playing some Fall Guys with you. I do have my Sonic outfit because I grinded 15 crowns from like years ago or whatever. So
you earned that. You didn't have to do an event.
No, this wasn't handed me. I didn't buy this on no store, right? I grinded crowns. I've actually been jumping into Smash Brothers this week. Taylor and I have been playing a few hours, a few nights a week. We joke that we're training, but then we just play random dittos and just like mess around and try to do ridiculous stuff. It's always a fun time. I'm glad that it's a kind of a down period. I can pick up some games that I haven't been playing for a while, but I have played one new game, and it's a game that I actually started and beat just today, and that was the Dark Pictures anthology Little Hope.
Look at you. There we go.
So it's on PS Plus on the extra tier, and I played Man of Medan forever ago on Game Pass. I played Until Dawn, and I was like, these are games that they're walking simulators, obviously horror walking simulators, but they're always ones that I'm like, I enjoy them. It's always a good experience, and they're not too overly complicated, and they're not long. It's a lot of quick time events and decision making, right? Little Hope is awful, I would say, for about
Oh.
1.5 to 2 hours of its 5-hour runtime. I would say it's a pretty bad experience.
Hmm.
You walk down a road, and that's basically every 10 feet you get a cutscene, and like something jumps in the wood. Like it's lit. I'm not even exaggerating. You were on this road for so long, and then the last 3 hours you start like going off, and like you get separated, and creatures start coming into play. It's really cool. Like the story I think is really cool because it kind of gives you like a time travel story with Salem, not Salem, but this town's witch trials, and like you have doppelgangers and stuff. It's a really cool, fascinating story where you're trying to figure everything out. Only one character died on me, which is like the best I've ever done in one of these games. Usually I'm walking away with like one character and I'm like, mission accomplished.
So this is very much a supermassive. Yeah, I know
Oh
it is
yes.
supermassive, but like the quarry where characters can die, there's a lot of decisions to make.
Yes.
And I was going to ask you, where do you put it on the spectrum of like walking simulators? Because to me, it's like you have the medium, which is pretty much a linear. You just walk and you experience what you experience, and then you have like the quarry, which has a lot of diverting branches and stuff like that. So
I haven't played the Quarry yet. I want to play it when it gets either on
really
a
fun,
subscription service
love
or
it.
a sale. I like the medium way more than I like Little Hope. I'm gonna throw
Yeah.
that out there. Yeah, yeah. I think in terms, I actually would say I like Man of Medan even more than Little
Mm,
Hope, which might be controversial. There are parts of Little Hope that I really enjoyed. I don't think. Uh, I don't think the characters are strong. I would
mhm.
say 2 out of the 5 I'm like, you could just die, and I really don't care. In fact, like I accidentally shot one of them in the throat.
Oh no.
And it was funny because like you know how you play these games and you get like the visions because it tries to
Yeah.
give you hints of like, okay, this is a death scenario.
Hmm.
I knew specifically like, okay, if I choose this option, someone's probably gonna die. But then
Yeah.
I held anyway, and I was like, but what if they don't? So I just and then when I blew her away with a pistol, I'm like,
You're like, oops.
all right, I didn't like you anyway. Let's move on. Like it's so sad. Like oh no, but no, the ending to this game not good.
Oh, really?
This game
Well, hold
start
on. Is the ending determined on your choices? So is that a you problem or is that
No, I got the like the ending it, like
okay?
the
Like the
good
canon
ending.
ending,
Like
yeah.
yeah, like the you did what you needed to do, like
Hmm.
you saved the people. It's not a good ending. This game starts poorly and ends poorly. And I was like, you had me there for like 2.5 hours of good storytelling, and then you
Hmm.
threw it all away. And I'm like, why did you do this?
This really sounds like, from what you're saying, the runtime of the game and how there's only 5 characters. It really sounds like one of the smaller experiences from supermassive
I
games.
felt that. I
Would it
felt like
be
it was
like the
rushed.
smallest?
I
Probably.
think so. I think Man of Medan was like 8 to 10 hours.
Hmm.
So in my and Until Dawn is 8 to 10, I know as well.
Yeah.
So for me, that even for a super massive game, this was very short. And I'm like, I think you rushed this game out.
Yeah.
I hear House of Ashes is better, but
Hmm.
I'll wait until that comes to a subscription service. I can't justify buying these games after like
After that experience, yeah.
Supermassive has consistently proven to me that Until Dawn, it's basically their only game that was like worth paying
Look,
for.
I'm telling you, if you're gonna play another Supermassive, it's got to be the Quarry, Kevin. I had so much fun playing that game. I think you would absolutely adore that. The characters in the Quarry are so fun. There's a couple of them where you're like, all right, you're an asshole, but they fit well into the story and stuff like that. So I think the Quarry is the way to go when it comes to Supermassive.
I'm gonna check it out at some point for sure. Just it depends on the sale price. Maybe if it drops to like $30-$20, then I'll pick it up. But
Yeah.
I don't think it's I've seen it on sale for like 55, and I'm like, that's it's not worth it to me for that price point. So yeah, Little Hope. Don't pay for that game. You can play it on PS Plus, and that was all I will say. I think Supermassive did not knock it out of the park there. I
Mm.
think it could have been a lot better. But Ethan, that's all I've been playing this week. So have a seat while I grab some books from the library and tell you this week's stories. Because story number one is a thing I'm calling the Great Delay of 2022. That's trademarked, by the way.
Trademark, yeah.
Game delays are nothing new in the video game industry, but 2022 has seen a shockingly high amount of games delayed, either to later dates or out of this calendar year entirely. In fact, and I just updated this figure, a total of 49 games have been delayed this year alone. The latest victims of what I'm calling the great delay of 2022 are High on Life, which was just delayed
Yep, just this
2
morning.
hours ago. Evil West, which was delayed yesterday, and Planet of Lana, which was also delayed yesterday. But it also includes some heavy hitters like Starfield, Redfall, Forspoken, Suicide Squad, Midnight Suns, and more. And let me tell you, some of those games delayed multiple times. This begs the question, however, Ethan, what remains for the rest of the year? Because it's looking a little thin, I think. We're in a drought. So I want to know what I have some other questions here about the delay situation, but in terms of what you're looking forward to the rest of the year, is anything safe? Are you feeling like we could be going into the fall holiday season with nothing to like no even things that have dates right now?
Um, I don't know if I would say it's safe because at this point, the environment that the game industry is in, I feel like delays are inevitable for a lot of things. It seems to me that God of War Ragnarok is going to come out. I don't foresee a delay in that. I think the new Pokemons are going to come out, Violet and Scarlet. I think we're going to get those, which that'll be a fun game to play. We got Saints Row coming in 5 days. That's another big sandbox game that people can sink a lot of time into. Skull and Bones, I hope that gets delayed. Honestly, no offense to Ubisoft, but I did not like how that game looked. But that's still slated. Goat Simulator 3, if you're into that. And then I'm looking at this list right. Oh, Callisto Protocol is coming out December
That's
2nd.
not coming out, bro.
Yeah, I don't know if that's coming out either. So right now, that's probably the big ones from what I'm seeing. Xbox players, we're going to be getting a lot of the Persona games, which we know that's coming out because those games are already done. So that'll be a lot of fun to be able to delve into those. So I still think we got a lot to look forward to this year. But I still think we'll probably have a couple more casualties before this year is up, before holiday season. But, honestly, if holiday season is just like Gotham Knights and God of War Ragnarok, then I'm there. I'm there for it. But yeah.
So for me, my most anticipated obviously is a Plague Tale Requiem. It's a game I haven't
All
shut up
right. Didn't
about
even think
forever.
about that.
Yes,
Yep.
that's October 18th. I'm
Yep.
feeling confident 2 months away that they're going to hit that date.
Because that game's not like crazy big, even if they do
No.
delay it, it'll probably be like High on Life where it's still going to be within the year. You know what I mean?
I have to believe that that game is coming out. The amount of press they're doing for it, like they seem pretty confident. If
Yeah.
it gets delayed, I will cry on this podcast. But in terms of other things like High on Life, I was looking forward to. It's still this year. It's in December, which
Yeah.
actually might be
Kind
a
of frees up
better
some
spot
time.
for
Yeah.
because October was very crowded. It was coming out the same day as Persona 5 Royal on Game Pass. Scorn is also coming out that day.
When I first
allegedly.
heard of the High on Life delay, I kind of had a feeling that it also had to do with how packed October was and how packed November is going to be. And they're like, hey, we could do some more work on this, and it probably would benefit us to move this to December, where it's a little lighter. Like we talked about, Callisto Protocol is probably the only giant December game that I can really think of right now.
I think it is the only one.
Yeah, and so High on Life, that'll be a nice little addition to Game Pass in December if somebody doesn't want to drop $70 on Callisto Protocol, if that even comes out.
Yeah, that leads me to my next question was what are the reason for these delays? And I think you have to look at that obviously on a game by game basis. We're not going
Yeah.
through all 49 of them. A lot of them, Starfield, Redfall, Forspoken, Suicide Squad, like they just need more time to get the quality and the bugs and polish it. Apologies if you can hear that train
The train's making a comeback.
but
Let's do it.
there are other games where I was saying High on Life, I think, just got out of the way of other titles, so it
Right.
doesn't get overshadowed. You have things like Stalker 2 and I think Replaced as well, where the war in Russia and Ukraine,
Right.
that's what affected their delay. So
It wouldn't surprise me if Atomic Heart 2 got a few delays here and there because
oh my god, I totally forgot that game's supposed to come out this year.
And I'm wondering if there will be some conflict there because that is a Russian studio. So we'll see about that game if that actually hits its mark.
That game's supposed to be coming out in the next 4 months.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be this year. It
is,
doesn't have
it
a
is.
definitive date but it's
No,
gonna come to Game Pass.
their last trailer had it had like a bunch of stars and then a month that ended in and then
Oh,
2022. So
okay.
it's the next 4 months if they don't
Yeah,
delay it, which
exactly.
now that you're saying that, I'm like, that game's getting delayed. I don't think that's coming out. But I'm looking at all these. Evil West went from September to November. And in my eyes, that is the opposite of what High on Life is doing. That one
Right.
clearly they had to polish up something in those last 2 months, because there is no way that you would move your double A game from September, where there's basically nothing coming out, to 2 weeks or so after God of War, 5 days
And
after
then
Pokemon. Like,
yeah.
you're setting that game up to be overshadowed.
Well, you gotta also think that this is Evil West is gonna come to Game Pass, so I mean, you have the Xbox players are gonna be playing this game.
No,
This is
Evil
gonna
West
be their
isn't coming to Game Pass.
I thought it was.
No,
Am I
Weird West
tripping?
came to Game Pass.
Weird
That's what you're
West,
thinking
that's
of.
the one I'm
That
thinking
one
of.
came already, and that one
So
was
damn,
mediocre.
you're right. I agree with you. That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
They had to have, yeah, like you said, they had to have been like, there's something we need to keep working on this. Then this ain't gonna work, so we gotta delay it.
I just so my next big question is, what can game developers do to remedy the disappointment of these delays? Because I feel like if you looked back at my text messages, my group chat with my friends, every day I'm sending them, this game got delayed, this game got delayed, and every time the response is not surprised, they need to
Yeah.
stop announcing release dates.
That's it. Is they need to stop doing, and I want to bring in an example because I feel like a broken record constantly just saying, "Oh, well, I'm glad they're delaying it so that they can make it a more polished experience." I'm glad, whatever. What they need to do is actually what THQ did. Okay, we did a live react to the THQ live show. Go check that out if you guys want to check that out. We weren't super high on a lot of the games, but if you were a fan of THQ, you went into that and you didn't see a lot of release dates from what I remember. I don't know if they even gave
They
release
didn't
dates
give
to
us a
any of
single
the
one.
games. And so you left that live broadcast as a THQ fan excited for a bunch of different projects. And what THQ did during that broadcast is not only get people excited for their games, but they avoided 3 or 4 potential PR nightmares and having to issue statements on Twitter and having to put statements out on Reddit saying, "We here at THQ apologize for what we feel like the blah blah." It's a cycle. THQ learned from everyone else's mistakes. They're actually doing it. They're saying, we're not going to give you, even though these games aren't massive games, like I can't imagine they're going to be delayed for like a year, like Starfield is or something like that. These games aren't like heavy hitters. There are a lot of AA games, a lot of real time strategy, not crazy big games. But just by not giving them those release dates, you've saved so many disappointed fans from having to deal with the delay. And I don't see what the problem is of that. Obviously we weren't high on the THQ showcase just because of the content that we saw. We weren't as excited for the stuff. But if you're a THQ fan, you're not going to be disappointed because they didn't give you those hard release dates. I really think that game companies could benefit just from saying, hey, we have an internal date that we need to hit. And we're going to tell the publishers, hey, this is the internal date that we want to hit. Don't put it out yet. Say Q4 2022, say second half 2022, Q1 2023. And then if you get to a point like High on Life where they have to delay a game a couple of months, they don't have to issue statements. They don't have to go on Twitter and issue statements and stuff like that. They can just say to their internal staff, hey, we're not going to make the October mark. We got to go to December. And then nobody would even know because you just put Q4 2022 and you're still hitting that mark of Q4 2022. I get why you want to put a date on a game because you want to get people excited. You want to get, IGN to make videos about you. You want to get GameSpot to be writing articles about you and stuff like that. You want to get pre-orders out. But at the end of the day, I feel like you can still do pre-orders. You can still get articles written about you, especially if you're a highly anticipated game, especially if you're in showcases like State of Play or the Xbox Bethesda showcase. There's just no reason at this point to give hard dates because it seems like game development is getting harder than ever with the amount of technology that we have to do, the amount of staff that you need to make a game. Things aren't always going to work out, and it seems like it's starting to become more often than not that these things aren't working out and that we have to delay a game or two. So these companies just need to take a step back and say, hey, let's just stop putting out these hard dates until we're damn sure that this is going to be the date like a month out.
Yep. Amon in the chat says, but I like, he says, but if they don't announce a time frame, how will we know when to expect it? It could be 6 months or 5 years. Great. What do you, you could tell me the game's coming out in 2 weeks. That's plenty enough time for me. Like, we don't need to know it more than that. You need to know for marketing more than that.
Yeah.
So, which is why I think every game should take the Bethesda Fallout route. If 4 month cycle, announce
Yeah.
the game, market it, release it.
And let's take another example of Obsidian coming out with Spacer's Choice 2 with Outer Worlds 2. They gave us that teaser for Outer Worlds 2, and I have not stopped thinking about Outer Worlds 2 since that showcase because I'm a huge fan of Outer Worlds. If they came, I would be fine with them just going along with development and then 1 month just saying on, like, let's say February 1st, 2023, being like, hey, this is dropping February 28th. Let's go. And then I'll be so happy. I'll be there for it. Like, that's fine for me. Just put it in my head. Hey, we're working on this. This is awesome. Get excited for it. You're going to get articles written about you because, those game companies want clicks. You're going to get reviews done. Everything's going to come into place. You're going to get pre-orders because there's people out there that want this game, right? You don't have to put a solid release date on it. I really don't think that's necessary at this point. Because, again, we have so many games now. We have more games than we ever have, especially with the exposure indie developers are getting and everything. You have something to play. And the amount of backlog, we have subscription services now that let us delve into backlogs and everything. We don't need to be marking on our calendars specific dates and stuff like that and being like, oh, I'm not going to play video games until this date, until this game comes out. No, we always got something to play. Cult of the Lamb just came out. That was a cool little game that we get to play. We got Midnight Fight Express coming out in 5 days. There's plenty of games coming out, folks. We can do without the hard dates and stuff like that until we know for a fact that your game is coming out the month or two beforehand. Then you can put out a date and be like, hey, get excited. This is the date. This is when you're jumping in.
Yep. Mostly Martinez says marketing teams get pressured to oversell that the game underperforms. And
Exactly.
I think we've seen that a lot over the last few years, actually, where games have had to delay multiple times, but every time they just kept announcing a new release date, not hitting it. And you know what that does? It builds bad will with your fan base.
Exactly.
If you had just internally delayed it, don't announce a release date until you know you can hit it. The fans are going to be, okay, that's fine. Because once you have a date, and then have to delay it, it looks way worse than not putting a date on it at all. Because
it does.
If you don't put a date on it, then the fans are just going to build anticipation. Like, oh, I can't wait to hear something. Like, oh, it's got to be coming soon. Like, that hype is going to still be there. If you put a date delay, then they're going to get annoyed. That's just what happens. We see online. I think the messaging has kind of changed, especially on Twitter and other things. Like, take the time you need. It's great. And it's fine. I completely understand. Like, devs need time to make the games, and I would rather them put out a good game. But what I'm saying is just don't put a release date on it until you can actually hit it, because you're going into this cycle of frustration, and then you get the toxicity of people attacking developers, and it's a bunch of nonsense.
And as much as I wish I could say, like, oh, we should just do away with the toxic, there's always going to be toxic people out there. And, we saw what happened to that God of War team. God bless those guys. And that hurts the morale of developers too. So if you're a developer sitting down, you're just an artist or something, and you're making art and that's your life, you're just making art for this game, and then your giant publishing arm of your game just has to delay it, and then you're the one getting all the harassment. You're like, why the hell did you put out that release date? I knew that this game wasn't going to be able to come out. I feel like a lot of the ground level devs probably know more than these publishers do in terms of how finished a game is, and I think we should really listen to those ground level people more, because I guarantee you all these games that are getting delayed, there's probably plenty of developers on the ground level that are just going like, I told them a month ago in the boardroom in the meeting that this game wasn't going to hit. You know what I'm saying? That happens all the time. So,
I definitely think sometimes the marketing cycle kicks in just to get pre-orders, so that way they got more revenue coming in to maybe finish the game if they needed that extra little revenue, which is why a lot of people are against pre-ordering. Personally, for me, I'm like, do what you want. Like, if I'm going to get the game anyway, I'm going to pre-order it. I'll pre-order it probably like the last week, so it doesn't matter. But
then I don't know. I'm the type of person that'll cancel a pre-order if you delay too long. Like, I got
Really?
the Far Cry 6 collector's edition on the Ubisoft store, and then they delayed that game like 6 months, and I immediately canceled my order. And then when came time to buy the game again, when it came out, all I got was the gold edition, which was like $150 less. Like, you could have made that sale, if you just gave out a proper date. But I'm like, I'm out. You guys are delaying the game. It scares me. It makes me scared about your game at this point.
I pre-ordered God of War Ragnarok the moment it was up for pre-order, and then it was
There's a
like
few games out there that's like, you got to make the pre-order, right?
it was yeah, it was like well, first of all, I had the train of thought, I was like, what if this comes to PS Plus? I'm like, no, Sony's not doing that. That's crazy. I don't need to worry about that because for Xbox games I'm interested in, I wait until the Game Pass announcement. Then I like Soul Hackers 2. I waited to see, is it coming to Game Pass? Okay, it's not. I'm gonna buy it now.
Yeah. And then SAZ is talking about I could also do with less showcases until they can actually make a date for what they're showing. A cool trailer without a date or even a window at the end takes me from hype to a nothing burger. I agree. You don't have to put your date on these showcases. Again, I go back to the point of Outer Worlds 2. I am buzzing about Outer Worlds 2. That trailer, that little teaser they did got me so hyped. Just seeing the moon guy and the logo for Outer Worlds 2, I was screaming at the top of my lungs. I was excited. They didn't give me a date. They don't got to give me a date. I'm excited for this game. Just take your time. Give me a quarter that might come out just so I can plan accordingly. Don't give me a solid date and disappoint me in the future.
Yep. Mostly Martinez says, yeah, I think people would be okay with coming soon. You get more hate from not hitting a promised date than a longer than expected development time, which is exactly
Right.
what we were saying. And like when A Plague Tale Requiem was shown off at the Xbox showcase, no date. It was shown again, no date. You know
Yep.
what? My hype didn't die because I
No.
knew this game was gonna come, and it's gonna come, all right. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think delaying this year, there's multiple reasons. I think the vast majority is most likely due to we're finally seeing the effects of the pandemic, but a lot is just missed time management. I think the war in Ukraine for a few of them, certainly,
Yeah.
but
And I think there's clearly a disconnect between big heads, big bosses, publishing arms, and the developers, like the
mhm,
actual on the ground developers. I really think there's a big disconnect there. And I hope to see that, disconnect shrink a little bit.
I hope so. All I can say is 2023 is gonna be packed
It's going to be busy.
right from the get go, man. For content creators, I have no idea how we're gonna manage these.
Oh, we're going to have fun. It's going to be a good
I'm
time.
I'm glad we rebranded and expanded
Yeah.
because now other people can play the games that I don't like. It's too much. It's too
Yeah.
much. Okay. Uh, but we can move into story number 2, Ethan.
Yeah.
And this was going to be a slower news week until Embracer Group decided to go on a shopping spree last night. I woke up this morning, I saw thousands of tweets. I'm like, what is happening? So, Embracer Group went on a little shopping spree that saw them acquire multiple IPs and studios. Perhaps the biggest of the bunch was their acquisition of the IP rights for Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. This gives them control over movies, games, and everything to do with the Tolkien created worlds. Embracer also purchased Limited Run Games, the company well known for producing collector's editions for indie titles and allowing smaller developers to get a physical release for their games. In terms of studios, they acquired Tripwire, the team behind Killing Floor and the Shark RPG Maneater. They also acquired a karaoke system, Sting Tricks. Sorry, I laughed. I think it's silly. And Tuxedo Labs. Another studio that develops for consoles and PC was acquired, but the name is not being disclosed at this time. The reported figure for this transaction is $577 million, which seems a little cheap to me
For
personally.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
So Ethan, we can start with Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit IP if you want.
Yeah.
But then I do want to touch. I have stuff to say on limited run games and even Tripwire. So we can
Mhm.
start with Lord of the Rings though.
Yeah, it's just a huge get for Embracer Group. I mean, what an IP to get a hold of. And I think this is really indicative of, Embracer isn't necessarily just trying to gobble up game studios. They're trying to get into our culture. Like they're trying to own a lot of things with our culture. And I think we're going to talk about limited run games too. I mean, they're not just buying dev studios. These guys want to be a part of everything in our lives. They're just trying to make money at this point. They're not necessarily dedicated to game development, which, I honestly, I think it's fine. I'm not that scared of consolidation. I know it can be toxic in other industries and stuff like that. But in terms of video games and nerd culture, I really haven't seen any negative effects of it except for the Activision Blizzard. Obviously, that was a really negative point when it comes to consolidation. But Xbox, another form of consolidation, kind of dragged that out of the darkness and has kind of helped that a little bit. Obviously, we haven't seen the full effects of it yet. We still need to see if Xbox is willing to open up studios and make certain IPs that have been dead for a while and stuff like that. But I really do feel like Xbox is going to do that. So consolidation doesn't scare me. Embracer Group, congratulations. You that's a steal. Lord of the Rings IP rights for 500 million. I would expect that number to be in the tens of billions at this point. That's kind of wild to me.
Yeah. I think they did get a good deal on Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, especially when you consider that I think everyone expected Amazon to snatch this up because they have the Rings of Power series coming out. They have unlimited billions of dollars to spend.
Yeah.
So I think everyone really did expect the rights to go the way of Amazon, and then you see Embracer Group kind of making a move. They have a few acquisitions where it isn't strictly game related, but I think this is the
Yep.
biggest signal of intent of their, hey, we're coming for all media. We want to be a big name
Oh, yeah.
player. I don't think they're ever going to make their own gaming console. I think they're happy being the publisher and developers, but they are clearly making a move to get their name more out there and not just be known as they're the double A guys that make some mediocre to good games. I think they want to take that next step and be like, okay, we're going to make Lord of the Rings expanded universe TV show. We're gonna make a Gandalf
I'm
movie.
here
We're gonna
for
make
it.
a Legolas
I'm here
movie.
for it. That sounds awesome to me.
It's crazy to think because like I'm still surprised when I see Embracer pop up, even though I know that they have basically unlimited funds because
Yeah.
they're bankrolled. And it's just because they haven't done anything super notable in the gaming sphere yet,
I
but
think
they
their most notable
own
thing is owning Gearbox with like Tiny Tina's Wonderland and stuff.
and
I
they're going to
mean,
own Tomb Raider and everything, right?
yeah.
Like those new Square
Sony even
acquisitions.
sold IPs to them. Infamous went to them and stuff
No,
like so.
no, that was
I thought
fake.
that
That was
was
fake.
fake.
Yep.
Oh, Sam, you betrayed me, Sam.
I tried to correct everyone in the Discord. I was like,
Nope,
Sam,
I
you
missed it.
got. That
I
wasn't
missed it.
Wario. That was Warlio 64.
Oh, Warley.
He got. He got.
There you
But
go,
that would have
folks.
been that would have been news. Tell
That's
you
why
what.
I was like, why? That
That
doesn't
would
make
have been some
sense.
news. That would have been crazy. No, Lord of the Rings, thing cool. The thing that I actually am excited for with this acquisition is limited run games getting acquired by them.
Yeah, that's
And
really cool. I'm happy
yeah,
for limited run games, honestly, because that company, I know you're not as much of a physical media collector as I am, but that company is really trying to keep that whole world alive with cool collector's editions, giving spotlight to small indie games that aren't getting much exposure and stuff like that. They're a really positive impact on the video game community, I think. And, if Embracer Group wants to use limited run games to make cool collector's editions of all the games that they're making, awesome. I'm here for it. That sounds like a great investment for them.
so when I saw that limited run games got acquired, my first reaction, because I did see some people concerned, like, oh no, what if they don't like produce the same level of quality? I think this is going to be good for them because if you order from limited run games, it takes forever to get those games.
Yeah, and they will release collector's editions of games years after they've been released. So it's like it's not instantaneous. With
Yeah.
a backup like Embracer Group with that amount of money, you might get some day and date collector's editions that are going to be really really cool because the folks at Limited Run Games are talented as hell when it comes to these
Hmm.
collector's editions. It's just the time and the money that they need to really step up their game. So it's exciting.
Yeah, no, my thought point exactly that Embracer is going to bankroll limited run games to now get. Hey, what if we had majority of indie games getting physical copies? What if we
Oh,
what if we give big indie games more collector's editions?
yeah.
It's not as limited. It's still limited because obviously that's the whole point. But you
Hmm.
you get probably cheaper because they're backroll. They don't need to make as much back on the collector's editions.
Right.
You get faster shipping, faster production because you have all this cash, this influx coming in. So my big thing is I think this will be great for the indie market. I think it's going to be great for those physical collectors of indie games.
And I think another cool point is that Limited Run Games, for most of its history, is really focused on Nintendo and PlayStation physical releases. With Embracer Group, I don't even think they've gone into next gen for PS5 in terms of physical releases. Maybe they've done a couple here and there, but it's mostly sticking to PlayStation 4 and
Mhm.
Nintendo Switch. Are we going to see Limited Run Games now start offering collector's editions for PS5, for Xbox, for all this? I think that would be really, really awesome to see.
Xbox is one they need to do. I think there's only been like one Xbox
One or
limited run
two.
game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they don't do
it's
much.
literally not something that Xbox has really gotten on board with. I know
Mhm.
it's basically Switch is the biggest I see. They do
Yeah.
some PlayStation. Xbox is basically non-existent in this area. But I think
Mhm.
with Embracer, we can see those bridges get built, and then we'll see
Exactly.
more of the indie. Like, oh, Tunic gets a sweet indies
Oh,
collect. Like,
yeah,
how
Tunic
sweet would that little fox? That would have been
be
pretty
great.
cool. Would have been pretty cool.
A Sable collector's edition? Oh, give me a oh, I'd love it.
There's just so many possibilities where I think like the indie game market is really going to benefit from this. In terms of the studios they acquired, I don't care about the karaoke machine. I think that's a joke. I don't understand what they're doing there.
It's
Um,
like, what is it? Konami trying to invest in the pachinko machines. It's money. It's making money.
I guess. Tuxedo Labs, they've made one game called Teardown. I have no idea what that is. But Tripwire is a studio that I think is an interesting pickup. They've made Killing Floor and Maneater. Both games I think were pretty well received. I haven't played either of them. I think I own Maneater, and I think it's on PS Plus too, but I own it on
Mhm.
Epic. From everything I've heard, it's a fun little shark RPG
I
game.
didn't really like it. Just
No?
FY, it's
Oh,
that
okay.
it wasn't for me.
Hmm.
But that's just me.
Okay. Okay. So the interesting thing with this is I'm pretty sure Tripwire recently let go of their either founder or CEO. So
Mm,
I'm wondering if now because of that transition, that kind of led the way for this to happen.
it's possible. Yeah, I don't see why. Because maybe he just wanted to stay independent, and everyone else was like, "No, it doesn't make sense. Let's just get Embracer's money." Because from what I hear, Embracer Group doesn't stick their hands in these developers, right? They don't micromanage. It seems like they're just buying them up and like, "Hey, do your thing," kind of like how Xbox manages its development studios. It doesn't seem to be really doing much to change the culture of these studios. That's why a lot of people, like you said, were scared about limited run games. Are we not going to see the quality anymore? Is it just going to be, a marketplace for Embracer Group games? No, I don't think it's going to be. I think limited run games is going to continue doing what it does, and it's going to do it great. And now we're just going to see an expanded catalog of games that they come out with.
Yes, I was right. I did just Google it. Tripwire CEO and co-founder John Gibson
Mm.
stepped down last September in because he supported the Texas Heartbeat Act, and we won't go
Oh
into the
yeah, let's
politics,
not.
but
Yeah.
yes, he did step down from his position at the company. So I do think it's interesting now that 1 year later, basically almost exactly, they're now being
New
acquired and
leadership
brought
was
under.
definitely more open to it.
Mhm. Well, I mean, the co-founder stepped away, so it could have been like, how much did they have to pay him out when he left, and
Right.
maybe they need some more funds. So I think that's interesting. I will hopefully they can get some more backing and produce higher because they made good games. Now they need to take that next step to make great games.
Yeah, they have a lot of potential.
One thing I do think is interesting: the undisclosed studio that they bought.
Yeah, why is that
Why?
undisclosed?
Why? Well, what's so secretive? Who did you
I don't
buy?
know.
Who
It's
did they
weird.
buy? Like
I
what?
I don't know. Like,
They
I
make
don't I don't see a benefit for keeping it undisclosed. Maybe they're about to release a game and they don't want maybe they think that would be bad press for the game that's about to come out. I don't know. I don't
I
know.
have no idea.
It'll be interesting. I'm sure we'll talk about it later on.
That's weird. I'm interested to see who that actual studio is because it's weird that they just specifically came out. Like they could have just not said anything,
Yeah,
right?
they
Like yeah,
one undisclosed
there's like yeah, we
studio.
bought someone else. They make games for PC and console. Like oh,
Uh,
okay, cool.
okay. That could be a lot of things.
Yeah, it could be anyone.
Yeah.
Man, okay. We can move on to story number 3, though. Good for Embracer. Game Pass update number 2 for the month. As we do twice a month, we let you know what games are coming to Game Pass so you can plan your gaming accordingly. And let me tell you, there's a lot this month coming. Okay. So,
Yeah.
available right now, you have Coffee Talk for Cloud Console PC. August 23rd, you have Midnight Fight Express for Cloud Console PC. August 25th, you have Exapunks for PC. Opus Echo of Starsong Full Bloom Edition for console and PC. August 30th, you have Commandos 3 HD Remaster for the Cloud Console PC. You have Immortality for Cloud PC and Xbox Series X and S. You have Immortals Phoenix Rising for Cloud Console and PC, and Tinykin for console and PC. Also available today, just announced before we went live, PC Game Pass is getting Return to Castle Wolfenstein, Quake 4, Wolfenstein 3D, and Elder Scrolls Legend Battlespire, the Elder Scrolls Adventures Redguard, and you can get Elder Scrolls Arena, Daggerfall, and Quake Champions free on the Microsoft Store. All right, that's all I got some more, but we're gonna stop there. Any of those games interesting to you? What do you think of this month's editions?
A lot of games I'm interested in. Coffee Talk, right off the bat, one of the best indie games that I've ever played. You know, I love those comfortable, cozy indie games. This game's vibe, I'm just going to give it to you. Dark, Seattle, hot coffee. That'll sell like thousands of people on the game right there. If I say that, I am proud to say that Seattle is one of my stomping grounds from back in the day. I call that city one of my homes in my life. So this really does bring me back to that sort of vibe of Seattle, and I absolutely adore it. It's always raining and stuff like that. It's really beautiful. My wife is actually playing it as we speak. This is her second playthrough. She's getting me some achievements, Kevin. So I kind of cheated this month. I'm not going to lie, but I think I was doing well on my own. But she loves this game.
He's farming out his achievements.
Farming out my achievements, Kevin.
Guys?
I'm a tactician. I'm a businessman, Kevin. you gotta make the moves. But Coffee Talk's great. I really recommend it for people. It's not a very long experience. It's an easy 100% on the achievement list. I already 100%ed it on the Steam achievements side. So really, really fun game. I would love to see more people play that. And Coffee Talk 2, episode 2 is coming out next year. So I'm really excited about that. Midnight Fight Express, another game I'm super excited for. Another little indie game, really Hotline Miami vibes. I think I'm really going to enjoy that. I'm sure we're going to have a spoiler cast on it going forward. It's going to be super fun. Let's see, what else is it? Castle Wolfenstein 3D. It's good to see some Quakes. It's good to see some of those old school shooters come out on PC Game Pass. Also, if you're not adverse to really old games and you're fine with playing really old 90s games, Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall is one of the best Elder Scrolls games. I mean, they're all great, but Daggerfall is so fun. It was really the beginning of how great Bethesda was. I think it's the ground level of where Bethesda launched off of to make some of the incredible experiences that we've had over the last 2 decades. Daggerfall is an absolute pleasure to play. If you're not adverse to that old MS-DOS style game that's just super pixelated, super old, it's a great RPG experience. If you like the old Bard's Tales, you'll love Daggerfall. So I think that's a game. Really shout out to that game. You guys should go check it out. It's free. Might as well pick it up for a little bit.
How did I know you were gonna pick out the Elder Scrolls? I was like, maybe he didn't. Maybe
Come on,
he's
Elder
younger.
Scrolls?
Maybe he didn't play that
No, I
one.
played them all. I played Redguard a little bit. It's kind of a smaller experience, not the craziest. I don't know what Battlespire is, honestly.
I
I
don't know.
think that's like an old
Bro, I didn't know there were so
app
many Elder
game.
Scrolls things.
No, there's a lot of app games, but there's like the 5 main. There's Arena, Daggerfall, Redguard, Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim. The 6 games. My bad. Those are like the mainline Elder Scrolls games. Daggerfall, definitely the best out of the first 3. So go check that out.
Yeah. So Coffee Talk, I've heard a lot about. I've heard that good things about that. I believe the creator passed away about a year or so ago.
He did.
Yeah.
It's very unfortunate, and he made an amazing video game. And I think you guys should all go check it out. It's so fun.
But Midnight Fight Express is the one that you were talking about. Looks so cool. The isometric beat 'em up style. It's going to be a lot of fun, I think. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then we have Immortality. This game actually looks really interesting. It's next gen only, so I think I might check that one out. But I've actually played Immortals Phoenix Rising before, guys. I bought it on sale, and I think that game is good, except for all the quote Ubisoftness in it. If you strictly play the mainline story of Immortals Phoenix Rising, good game. I really like it. Fun time. If you have to do all the side things in the world and be the Assassin's Creed, that's where I draw the line, because I did not enjoy the majority of the side activities or anything like that in Immortals Phoenix Rising. So I would skip that. I would just play the story. I think there's a lot there just for the linear.
Kevin, I didn't even mention Immortals Phoenix Rising. I forgot that you even said that. Ubisoft game, collectathons, I'm here for it.
Have you not played it?
No, I forget what game came out when it came out, but it definitely superseded Immortal Phoenix Rising. I cannot point my finger at it right now.
I mean, I think, didn't Valhalla come out? the
I thought
same year?
Immortals came out in 2019. Did it not?
I don't think
We're
so.
gonna do a live lookup here on Project
Immortals
XTalk, folks. We got to figure this out.
Phoenix
I
Rising
got to get the time frame because if it was 2019, it was probably Outer Worlds. I was
came
probably
out 2020, October
2020.
22nd, 2020. That's funny because I just listened to our friends over on the Bitcast, and Hogue was insisting that this game came out in December.
Hmm.
It came out in October
I
2020.
can't pinpoint what exact game that came out around that time to where I didn't play this, but I remember it being on my radar and I really wanted to pick it up because again, I was coming off of playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So I think when that game came out, I was like, I had enough of Greek mythology. I put 180 hours into Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I'm gonna take a break and I just haven't gone back to it. So Ubisoft, I fall in love with those titles. They didn't really hit with Valhalla for me. Still put 150 hours into it because I'm a masochist fiend for Ubisoft games. So I'll probably be playing some Immortal Phoenix Rising when I get some downtime.
You'll probably like it. Let me know how you enjoy the side activities because
Mhm.
they call them wells in this game. So you like jump
Okay.
down and you basically have to solve a puzzle and like to
Ooh,
increase one of
puzzles.
your stats. Yes, lots of puzzles, lots of you hitting balls and using wind, and it's very
To be
frustrating.
fair,
If
the Assassin's Creed games have a lot of puzzle dungeons like that.
the
With Valhalla, you had the beams of light that you had to open doors with and
Yeah, we
stuff.
got.
So I can tolerate it.
I think those got. But the physics for some of the stuff in Immortals is not great.
Yeah.
The puzzles can get very frustrating, and then I give up. So, that yeah, if you're interested in Ubisoft games, you can go play that. But I did want to talk about the games leaving Game Pass. We don't usually highlight these, but I wanted to
There's
highlight
a
them
lot.
this month because there's some big hitters. So we have Elite Dangerous, Hades, Mist, NBA 2K 2022, Signs of the Sojourner, Spiritfarer, 12 Minutes, 2 Point Hospital, What Remains of Edith
Mm.
Finch, and World War Z. That is a lot of
Yeah,
good quality games
really.
leaving the
Yeah.
service.
Yeah, there's a lot of good Hades, obviously. Did that win Game of the Year? No, it didn't, right? It was nominated for Game of the Year, I believe.
Yeah.
But Hades, probably one of the best roguelikes to come out in recent memory. Absolutely a banger of a game. But to be fair, a lot of these games that I'm seeing have been on Game Pass for a very long time. You've had time to play the Spiritfarer is not a big game. 12 minutes is not a very long game. 2 Point Hospital,
Don't
that
play
makes
12 minutes.
sense. 2 Point Hospital. 12 minutes is great. Stop it, Kevin.
12 minutes is bad. It's bad.
Stop it. Don't listen to Kevin, folks. 12 minutes is so fun. 2 Point Hospital, obviously, that kind of makes sense because 2 Point Campus just came out and they want to get eyes on their brand new game. What Remains of Edith Finch? I actually really want to quickly play that before that leaves.
You
I've
probably
been
got
meaning
time.
to play that. I probably have time. I hear that's not a long game. World War Z, zombies, nope, not doing it. NBA 2K22 makes sense because 2K23 is obviously coming out, and I feel like that's
Mm,
going to come to Game Pass soon. Mist, I tried out. It's a very old puzzle game, and it's very I mean that's all I got to say. It's not it wasn't for me. So
for sure.
a lot of tough losses, but I feel like a lot of these games were on the servers for a very long time. You've had time to play it. A lot of them weren't really long experiences. A lot of them you could probably play through very quickly before they leave. So get out
Yeah.
there, get your gaming in. We're kind of on a low point right now in terms of game releases, unless you're just jumping into Cult of the Lamb. So go out there and play a little bit of Hades before it leaves. It's a lot of fun.
Chevy Rooney agrees with me. I'm with you, Kevin. 12 minutes was disappointing.
I feel like I'm the only one that liked 12 minutes.
Bro,
but
what was there to like? The awful ending, the repetitive gameplay, like learn
I
to do a
just
time
liked
loop.
being able to do I kind of got engrossed in all the different puzzle. I call them
Those
puzzles, but like
puzzles were so obtuse, bro.
the different things that you had to do to change the trajectory of the story and stuff like that. I also played with a guide because I wanted to get achievements, so
Oh,
that kind of
okay,
helped a lot.
okay. Yeah, I didn't play with a guide. It's the most
Yeah,
frustrating 4 hours
don't
of
play
my
this
life.
game without a guide. You will want to jump off a cliff.
Like, oh, I was supposed to do that? How why would I ever think to do that, you
Yeah, I
know?
don't
Like it's
know. Yeah,
all right.
I liked it for what it was. Come on.
Well, you do you. Story number 4 Is Death Stranding coming to PC Game Pass? The Game Pass or PC Twitter account recently changed their profile picture to scenery that looks eerily similar to Death Stranding. And some insiders are claiming the game is set to come to PC Game Pass very soon. They actually just changed their picture again today to a closer up image. It seems all but confirmed that Death Stranding will be coming to PC Game Pass. Ethan, how are you feeling about this?
Uh, really awesome. This is a game that I've wanted to play for a while, but like I've said, I don't have a PS5, and I don't. I never bought it on PC because I don't think the PC I have can run it. I don't have like the most up to date PC. I don't play much on PC, but really excited. I'd love to jump into this. I don't necessarily think I'm gonna like 100% this game because it seems like a slog if you do. But I just played a little bit of Metal Gear Solid 5, and that kind of got me back into the whole Kojima game sphere, which I really enjoyed. So it's nice to see that. And for everyone that's wondering, because obviously this game is very much thought of as a PlayStation IP, the
Mm-hmm.
PC port was published by 505 Games, and that company has I think a fairly good relationship with Game Pass. They've published Payday 2, which is on Game Pass, Sniper Elite 3, Dead by Daylight,
Pretty sure they
all
did
these
Control too.
Control, yeah. So the 505 has put a lot of their games on Game Pass, and so it makes sense that they're just going for PC because that's the only thing they published on. I think it was Kojima Productions that published on
It
PlayStation,
was
or was it
PlayStation.
Sony
It
straight?
was PlayStation.
It was
Yeah,
Sony
which
straight though. Okay,
you brought up exactly what I was going to say. Why this is happening because
yeah,
505 is the P and the fact it's only going to come to PC Game Pass. I'm almost
makes
certain is
sense.
because of 505 because
Hmm.
Sony has that exclusivity for consoles. PC
Right,
and consoles are very much thought of as two different worlds these days. That's why
especially
when
in PlayStation.
you
Xbox is starting to move away from that, but PlayStation it's still very separate.
use which could be changing. There was some news in the PlayStation
Right,
land
right.
with but in terms of you see showcases console launch exclusive. So you're seeing publishers take this phrasing where it's like, okay, we want to make it very clear that it's coming to PC and this one console at like a certain time. And PlayStation, I'm pretty sure, still has the exclusivity for consoles. Whether it ever comes to an Xbox console remains to be seen. But I firmly believe that this is coming to PC Game Pass. The hints are all there. It's just
Yeah.
way too coincidental.
Why not? And Death Stranding is probably, I would say, at the end of its life cycle. It's getting old, and this is a nice little shot in the arm for it if it comes out. And I know that Death Stranding very much is integrated with online play. Like there's things that other players can do. They can put structures in place, and you can use those structures and stuff like that. So I think that'll be good to get an influx of new players in there, so that you can keep the game alive for a little bit longer. I think that's a good thing.
You know what else is a reason that we haven't touched on is now has a nice little deal with Hideo Kojima that we
Yes,
saw
they
at the
do.
Xbox showcase. So they were like, "Yo, bro, you're making a game for us, right? How about we get one of your other ones
Let's
over
throw it
here?
on.
You know? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It wouldn't
100%.
surprise me if we saw Metal Gear Solid 5 at some point come to Game Pass. I don't do you know who published Metal Gear Solid 5? I need to check
Probably,
real
I think
quick.
it's Konami. I think Konami did it
Konami published it.
because
Let's
wasn't that
see.
the one they
Yes.
kicked Kojima off of?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Konami published Metal Gear Solid 5. So, be
yeah.
cool to see some more Kojima games come to Game Pass. It'd be great.
Yep, for sure. So stay tuned for that one. Should be coming probably in the. I would suspect if it's not in the it's in September. Probably the next Game Pass drop. We're gonna be saying this one.
And there's a lot of rumors of Death Stranding too. A lot of people are saying that's coming out soon. So, you never know.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're gonna end on a nice little story here, Ethan. You forced me to add this one to the docket.
Yes, come on.
And that is Dead Island 2 is alive. It's back. Seemingly linked by Amazon, Dead Island 2 looks set to release February 3rd, 2023. I we've heard rumors, and we actually did a Project XTalk extra way back when about Dead Island 2 possibly getting a re-reveal this year. It looks pretty dead set that that's going to happen either at Gamescom or maybe the
Yeah,
Game Awards.
Gamescom for sure.
And then I believe this release date, I think February 3rd, 2023.
It's been long enough.
It's been like 12 years. I don't even know what to say. Like they tricked us at Summer Games Fest with Goat Simulator doing the same thing. So it'd be hilarious if the reveal was
It's just Goat
goats.
Simulator.
Goats, yeah, they're making fun of the goats.
Jeff
Switch the
Keighley
roles
is a
here.
genius, folks.
Switch the roles here. I don't have much to say on Dead Island 2. It's happening.
So if y'all been watching the show for any amount of time, you know I'm absolutely terrified of zombies. Like it's my phobia. I'm not good at it. But Dead Island, I love the setting. I played probably like 3 hours of it before I got too scared and I couldn't play anymore. But now that this is a modern updated title, I'm hoping we get some multiplayer like Dying Light 2. Because the only way I could play, I love Dying Light 2, but I still haven't beaten it. I haven't even come close to beating it because the only way I can play is with a friend. And Garrett, Wayworn G, RIP to him. He hasn't been on in forever. But I played a lot of Dying Light 2 with him and I had an absolute blast. If Dead Island 2 comes out and it's multiplayer, I will be playing it and I will be scared crapless. I don't want to say the swear word, but I'll be scared crapless, but it's going to be great because I'll be playing with friends. I love the setting, a tropical setting of a zombie game where you get to loot all these tacky hotels and stuff like that. It sounds like a blast. So, I'm excited for it. But again, zombies, I won't be playing this solo, folks. So if it doesn't have multiplayer, I'm out.
I think I would be surprised if this game doesn't have 4-player co-op.
It's
got to
have it.
That's 100% going to happen.
Yeah. The only thing that scares me though is that this game has really been in development hell for a very, very long time. And just all the things that are going on with this game, it doesn't spell a lot of good things out. It's kind of worrying. So hopefully they hit the nail. So hopefully they do well. Because I love the original Dead Island.
Watch this game come out like broken, full of bugs, and you're like, what have you been doing for 13 years?
Wouldn't surprise me just because how long it's been in development hell. So, but yeah, if you guys want to check out, go pick up Dead Island 1. I got the Game of the Year edition for 360 right here. It's so fun.
Is
go
it
check
backwards compatible?
I believe so. I don't see why it wouldn't be. But
Maybe
it's if you like zombies
that before you buy it, guys. Check that before you buy it.
If you like zombies, play it.
Well, we can move into our last segment of the show, and that's some listener questions. Every week we ask you guys for questions for the show. You can either come to our Discord, submit them there, submit them to the Twitter thread, however you want to get your questions in. We will read them live on the show and answer your questions. So Hopple, shout out Hopple, one of our patrons, says, what was your best bug/glitch in a game? And I was thinking about this before the show, and I think my answer might be the missing no in Pokemon. Nice. I think that's a classic. But also one of the funniest ones I had was when I tried playing Cyberpunk 2077. And this was the next gen version where they swore the bugs were gone. And then I had Jackie walk right through the wall.
Yes. Jackie was so bugged.
I'm like, bro, where are you going? Why are you going through the wall?
There was one time where I had this mission and it was me and Jackie had to go to this. It's one of the first missions. You got to go to this warehouse, clear it out. Or, well, first you got to talk to the leader of the gang and then you have to fight them all. But Jackie pulled up in his motorcycle, literally planking. You remember planking, Kevin, when that was a thing back in the day? He was literally planking on his motorcycle, fucking drove up to this warehouse and he wouldn't get off his motorcycle. So I had to take my car, drive 100 miles per hour and smash into his motorcycle to fix the game. It was the funniest thing in the world, but I actually fixed it by doing that. So it was great. So shout out to Cyberpunk 2022 or 27. I don't even 77 for having some of the greatest bugs imaginable.
Yeah, that's a good one for sure. Do you have a different one besides that, or you want to?
Going back to my childhood, Kevin, Skyrim. When that first came out, it had some great bugs going on. We have the classics like the giant hitting you and you flying 100 feet in the air. That's always the one that everybody had to try out at least once. And then also another shout out to this glitch. The mammoths, when at launch, the mammoths sometimes would just fly into the sky and ascend like they were gods. It was so funny. They would load into the map when you were running on the plains around Whiterun, and you would literally see like 3 or 4 mammoths just start ascending into the heavens. And it was absolutely beautiful. I remember going on YouTube and seeing funny edits and stuff like that of all the different Skyrim glitches. So shout out to Skyrim for having some of the funniest glitches out there.
You know what happened to me in Skyrim was the very first town you go to, a dragon followed me back, killed my blacksmith, and
Oh
then
no.
his body laid in the street for the remainder of the game.
Just a reminder.
Every time I went to the town, I couldn't blacksmith anymore there. I was like,
Look,
he's literally just dead. I
if
thought
you're
someone would
playing
come replace
Skyrim,
him.
you gotta play on PC so you can command console resurrect your guys because you don't want villagers dying. You want to keep them up so you can use their services and stuff. You got to resurrect your people. Come
Yeah.
on.
He was dead for the next 50 or whatever hours. Every time I went there, I was like, I don't know what to do
Love
with you,
it.
buddy. We also have SAZ coming in with what Xbox exclusive title would you most like to see get a super fan collector's edition from limited run games?
Love this question. I would love to see limited run games go into the back catalog of original Xbox games, and I will never stop shouting at the roof about this game. Star Wars Republic Commando, the greatest Star Wars game ever created, one of the greatest first-person shooters ever created, one of the greatest Star Wars stories, period. Star Wars Republic Commando deserves a pedestal in gaming history. It just had a Switch release, which I loved. I think that's awesome that they got some exposure there for Nintendo fans. It seems like people are interested in it again because why would we get a Switch release almost 2 decades after it originally came out for the original Xbox? I would buy a collector's edition of Republic Commando in a heartbeat. I'd love a little statue of Sev, the sniper, in it. I love Sev. He's my favorite character. RP to Sev. Sorry, spoiler for anybody that hasn't played it in the last 2 decades, but absolutely love this game. It has a very special place in my heart. I still got it loaded onto my Xbox. I fire it up every now and then. I could see a lot of potential though for limited run games to go into that back catalog of original Xbox games. That'd be really fun. Max Payne or like Fusion Frenzy or something. Come on, let's see it.
Fusion Frenzy would be sweet. Cheveruni says, "Whoa, bold claim. Rogue Squadron's number one for me."
Correct claim, I'm telling you. The Rogue
Uh,
Squadron is good too. I'm not gonna lie, that's up there.
Bro, I think you know there's only one answer for me.
Yep.
Give me a nice Banjo Kazooie
Yep.
trilogy. Give me
Oh, trilogy.
yeah, you just put them all in one little thing, all right? You just
Mm.
throw them all together. Give me like a little banjo statue or
Don't you
like
already have banjo
plushies or
statues?
I have my amiibo.
Oh, he's
That's
always
all like
looking down on you.
that's all
Yeah,
like
you
he's
need some
always
you need some
staring at me.
statues.
The
Yeah.
statues are so expensive. So
Oh.
I every time because they have come out with a few, and I'm like, they have a few where I think it's U2s for just
Mhm.
banjo, and
U2s, yeah.
those aren't that expensive. I probably could afford those, but they have like Mumbo Jumbo or Gruntilda, I think, and they're like $300, and I was like,
Wow.
bro,
They're
yeah,
like proper statues
I
of
think
them?
I think our buddy Ains over there at Season Gaming, I think he has the Mumbo Jumbo one.
Wow, okay.
Yeah,
Very
so
cool.
let's get some more affordable options than me shipping out
Yep,
hundreds of dollars. I just want
yep.
to, Banjo. He could be hanging next to me during the show, and I could pull him in instead of reaching
It would
up.
be great.
Yeah, for sure. We also have Taylor, aka TPR, going. What were your personal experiences with the Red Ring of Death, if at all? Has your gaming hardware failed you prematurely before, other than this? So I'm gonna take this one first. My specific Xbox 360 never had the Red Ring of Death. My brother's console had the Red Ring of Death, which I guess when it got it, it was really our console. So that one did get the Red Ring of Death. We did fix it though, the old wrap it in a blanket trick,
Yeah.
which probably shouldn't do.
No.
Um, I've also had my Xbox One power supply fail, so
Mm.
I had to buy a whole new like the old school brick that used to come with the Xbox One. I had to get a new one of those, and it was like well into the life cycle, so it wasn't really like the easiest thing. Like where you buy these from, right? So
Yeah.
I had to get like a knockoff one. It wasn't like Xbox up. It was literally just someone on Amazon made a replacement one for this.
Shout out to that guy who made the replacement. But
Yeah. How about
for
you?
my experiences, I gotta say, and I'm probably a rare unicorn. Out of every console I've ever owned, I've never had a console go bad on me. Not once.
Mm.
Not between Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox. Never. Never had a console go bad on me. I've had probably 13 or 14 different consoles in my lifetime. Uh, and specifically with the 360, never had the Red Ring of Death. And I think it's funny because when the 360 came out, it was huge. Everyone was buying the 360. I got my
Mhm.
360. All my buddies got their 360s. I think we were in like elementary school or something, but Xbox Live was the thing. We were talking to each other all the time on Xbox Live, and it felt like the apocalypse, Kevin. All of my buddies started getting these red rings of death. I think I had 2 or 3 friends that their Xboxes were dropping like flies. And I'm sitting here like, oh my God, all my friends are losing their Xbox. And I started actually like not playing as many games on the Xbox because all my friends' Xboxes were getting the red ring of death, but somehow I was able to avoid it. So throughout my entire life, the only thing I've ever broken hardware wise was controllers, and that's completely my fault. That had nothing to do with how it was set up. But consoles, they've been solid for me, so I've been pretty lucky.
I thought of one more console that messed up on
Oh,
me.
all right.
My GameCube, and it was
Really?
yes, which I don't know if it was a thing that was like happened, but we were playing my GameCube, and the power cord burst into flames
What?
from the in like the in like so you just and we're like, what is happened? You turn off the you get rid of everything,
Yeah.
and then we were like, just wrap some electrical tape around that. I'll sort that right out. You're
Electrical
good.
tape. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. We used it after that, where it did work fine. I mean, it was still like usable, but it was very like, why is my cord just like all of a sudden
Bro,
little
if
sparks?
you didn't have a corded console back in the day or a corded controller back in the day and didn't have electrical tape all over at least one of them, you weren't playing games, folks. You got to
Mhm.
have the janky ass cord going on.
We got another GameCube after that, and we gave that one to my sister. And we're
Yep.
like, here, you get the broken one. We're gonna
Yeah.
take this one.
I will say though, I do remember this isn't a console, but I do remember a lot of my N64 cartridges not working anymore. The blow didn't work anymore. You know, you blow out the
Mm,
N64 cartridges, that didn't work for a lot of them, and that was really upsetting to me. So I don't know what happened there, but N64, you got to step up your game, Nintendo. Come on.
yeah, yeah. Break some more consoles.
Yeah.
Uh,
WrestleMania 2000 broke. That was a heartbreaking day in my
oh,
life.
oh, so sad, so sad. Our last question of the show. It's Kyle asks, did we ever buy special edition consoles? It's a
No.
no for me, dog.
No, never. I think the main problem with that is that usually special edition consoles come after the main console release. And me
Hmm.
being an enthusiast for gaming and loving gaming, I got to get the new console as fast as possible. So I'm buying the base model right off the bat. And by the time a special edition comes out, it's just like, what am I going to do? Spend another $500-$600 for a display piece? It doesn't really make sense to me. I've never gone into it. If they had released, like, let's say the Halo Infinite edition of the Series X alongside the regular Xbox release, I probably would have picked up the Halo Infinite one. But
Same.
we've never really had that situation that I can remember. At least I was too young to really make that decision. It was my parents' money buying the consoles, so they never wanted to shell out the extra 100 for a special edition. But as an adult, no, I'm still probably never gonna do it unless I have like crazy money for some weird reason because it's just not worth. It's a little rich for my blood for a collector.
I know my brother got his PS4 because he didn't buy it at launch was the Spider-Man PS4. He specifically went out and was like, that's what convinced him to get a PlayStation. So
Yeah,
for me, I don't can't remember me ever having a special edition. I don't think I've never gone on my way to buy a special edition console.
yeah,
I almost bought the Halo Series X, and then I was like, I'll buy this and then sell my Series X. But I was like, that's too
yeah.
much man work. I can't be bothered with that. Captain Logan, wait, you all don't have two Series
I know,
X's?
shocking. We're not fans.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. Some people are like, I got an X for this room and an S for this room. I'm like,
Look,
uh,
I would love to have the Halo Infinite Xbox. I really would. I think it would be awesome, but I'm cheap. I'm an old Irish cheap guy. You know, I grew up in that Irish family that doesn't spend money when you don't have to. So I'm not gonna
yep,
do it. It doesn't
yeah.
make sense to me.
SAZ says Animal Crossing New Horizons Switch, the
A
only one I've
lot of
ever
people have
gotten,
that.
so
Yeah.
that I could make a second island. He bought a whole
Wow.
Switch just for a second island.
Fair enough. Hey, you could have just gotten the Switch Lite, but I like the dedication with the New Horizons model. My sister-in-law has one of those. That's really cool.
That's crazy to me. You just spent like $300 to get another Animal
Hey,
Crossing island.
Animal Crossing's great, Kevin. Don't even seriously. Animal Crossing is amazing.
Animal Crossing would be better if you could kill all the villagers or make them fight.
You love
or
Cult of the Lamb. Cult of the
bro.
Lamb's right up your alley.
3,000
3,000 hours essay.
Wow. Okay. No dedication,
I
bro.
think my wife has like 500 probably in at this point. I probably only put about 50 hours into it. I haven't gotten crazy into it, but damn, I respect the hustle. Animal
I'd say you
Crossing is definitely fun. I love it.
got your money's worth for sure. That's all we got for the show this week, those guys.
Yeah.
Good show. Had fun. Thanks for hanging out with us. Ethan, where could people find you?
They can find me at WhiteCedar1 on Twitter and Gravy3448 on Xbox.
And you can find me at the Muffin Mod. It's a 1-7I and 0-7A. Follow us at Save Game Media. Make sure to share, like, subscribe, rate us on all of your platforms over there for audio. Enter our God of War Ragnarok giveaway because I feel like No Limits isn't promoting this. I don't know why. It's their giveaway. It's their show. I'm over here promoting it. But yeah, we will see you next week. Episode 98's coming next week. We're closing it on 100.
Oh, yeah,
and let
it's
me
gonna
tell
be
you,
fun.
we haven't figured out anything
Nope,
to do for
we
episode
haven't.
100. So if you have ideas, let us know. Goodbye.